The story of Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible is not about the supposed sin of homosexuality. Also, homosexuality isn't a sin. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. Trigger warning, this story involves sexual violence, so take care of yourselves. So to catch everybody up who didn't do the reading, the overview of the story is that God sends some angels, and it's a kind of roundabout way of getting there. They go to the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, and they're standing there waiting for somebody to invite them to stay at their house overnight, because that was the expectation, is that when travelers showed up to a city, you were hospitable to them, and you invited them to stay with you, and you took care of them until they, got up the next morning and went on their way to the next city. Basically, everybody was the Motel 6. And the thing is, there's a scandal. They have to wait there a long time. And eventually this guy named Lot says, hey guys, you should just probably come. It's getting dark. It's not safe. And then it says that the men of the city came out and banged on Lot's door and said, hey, dude, put these guys out here. We are going to gang rape them. And Lot says no, which, credit to him, he met the cultural expectation of him to protect the travelers that were from another area. And in a really crazy, ancient way of thinking, he is seen as extra good because in order to appease this crowd of sexual violent criminals, he puts his daughter out, and they have their way with her, which is awful. But in that culture somehow was a sign of how hospitable he was, that he would risk his own family. And then, because the city was so awful, God rains down fire and brimstone, destroys the whole thing. You actually don't have to read very far into the story. You can just read it for what it is. It's clear what the problem is. The problem is not that it is men having sex with men. It is this sexual violence that happens in the story. And that bears out in how ancient people looked at the story. You can see that in a couple of different places in the Bible that the sin of Sodom had nothing to do with who it was, the genders of the people involved. It's the act, it is the violence, and it is the violation of the cultural norm of protecting the traveler and the stranger in your city. So if you want to say that homosexuality is a sin, you just can't use that verse. In fact, you can't use any of the verses in the Bible for a number of reasons. I've got a verse-by-verse video if you want that information. But homosexuality is not a sin. The Bible doesn't say it's a sin anywhere, and that's just it. And also, I can't go without saying that I've done this video on the day after one of the largest Christian groups in the world decided to no longer have hurtful, harmful, damaging language that says that homosexuality is against Christian teaching. Shout out to all the United Methodists who decided to make loving and accepting everyone a priority. The world is a more affirming and inclusive place today than it was yesterday because that group removed all of that harmful language from their official documents.